Hi, and welcome to another scrapbooking process video. Today I'm doing the flip side of this 6 by 12 inch insert that I designed to go alongside my Let's Get Physical layout, which should be the video right before this one on my channel. And I'm going to do another 1.5 page that will go along with my first 1.5 page. So all of these pages are designed to kind of go together. So make sure you check out that other video if you didn't see this one. I mean, if you didn't see that one. And this is a page, all of these pages I did while I was live streaming with my Patreons, which is something that I try to do every month with my Patreon members. And so that's why the footage is a little bit different with me up in the corner. And there's going to be a lot of me kind of like talking with my hands and that sort of thing. But anyhow, I had to go for a minute apparently. Oh, yes, right. I'll cut this part out. So I did have to go grab another coffee, and it says, I survived my teenage daughter on my coffee mug that my mother-in-law gave me. So this is a photo. It's just like a quick snapshot of they were just dancing and I just missed them, but Sophie gave me a bit of a pose and Maddie gave me a bit of a smile. And it's from the same night as the other photos. And this is my younger daughter who's in grade 9 and her BFF of sorts. One of her BFFs. They kind of have a pretty tight social circle, those guys. And what am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm checking the weather because we were all talking about our weather. And I can't see my watch very well because I need new glasses. Anyhow, I think it was 4 degrees out. And so that's pretty cold, 4 degrees Celsius. I adore that pattern paper, man. I gotta use that. So these are some of my leftovers from the last page, and I'm going to use a lot of repetition here. I do still have my Halloween stuff pulled out that I might use. Again, I have no real thought of what I want to do for this page. And so, I'm starting off by thinking up some ideas for other videos I want to do. I do like to get feedback from my Patreon members, but also from anybody in general. If you're interested in a video, just drop me a comment and I will do my best to make. I actually really love getting requests for videos. I can't always do all of them, especially now that I'm not scrapbooking and videoing as much. But I do kind of find it a bit of a challenge, and I do enjoy taking requests. So leave a request if you have an idea. The ideas that I had written down is I'm going to be doing a trimmer video on my new Stampin' Up trimmer, and also talking a little bit about how I have my scrap room set up into primary and secondary rooms. So I have my main scrap room where most of my supplies are, but I have what I consider secondary supplies that I keep down in the basement, and I thought I'd talk a little bit about how I do that. So I started off by matting this photo with the same gray paper, pattern paper from the Hip Kit Club from September of 2021 that I used on the other pages. So that kind of pulls these photos all together to kind of help it have some continuity between the pages, even though you'll be flipping before you see this one. I am going to use this circle background paper. It has the same color as my dining room walls, which feature prominently in the other page. So I think that it will be a nice accent. And I really love this paper right here. It reminds me so much, and let me know, does it remind you too of a certain font by Sassafras? Yes, doesn't it look like those Sassafras stickers that we all love? And I bought all up before you guys could get your own. Sorry about that. I bought every copy that exists of those. I am using just some landmarks on my trimmer to help me trim that paper down so that it's even on all those sides, because that is quite a bit wider of a mat than I usually use. I just wanted to get a little bit of that pattern in on this page. And at this point, I don't really know what I'm going to do, but I do think I'm going to do some journaling around the circles, because I feel like that will be a nice companion idea to go along with the funky journaling I did on the other side of that 6 by 12 inch paper. One of them is kind of squarish and this one is going to be circular. So I kind of like that idea of they're kind of similar, but not exactly the same. Similar, but different. It is going to take me a bit of a while to figure out what exactly I want to do here. It took me quite some time to come up with a title for this. Because Let's Get Physical is a song, I was really thinking that I wanted to have a song as my title. I definitely want it to be title dominant, like the other layout was title dominant as well. And I really, really struggled. I didn't want this to be too monochromatic, so I'm introducing this paper here. It shows up in the other layout, and it brings that corally orangey kind of color into this page that otherwise it would have been quite a monotone type of two-tone on tone. So that breaks it up a little bit. It still reads as a monotone kind of a page, but it's not. Not technically anyways. And so at this point, I don't know. See that glasses paper? I like that glasses paper because Maddie's wearing glasses. And I am thinking I'll either use it just as an accent and not do anything with it and just leave it there because it coordinates nicely, or I might use it as a background for some type of 6 by 12 inch layout that might have maybe the journaling or maybe some extra journaling, or who knows. I do want to use the same letter stickers. These are those puffy letter stickers from the Hip Kit Club. They were exclusive to the September kit. I'm just showing the photo up close because one of my viewers was watching on their phone and couldn't see it very well. It's also really fun. I missed her dance. She was just dancing a few minutes ago and I just missed it. But I probably wouldn't have been allowed to scrapbook it if I caught it. So maybe I'm glad I didn't. I am going to cut this out because I spend some time just Googling and thinking and getting feedback from the people who are watching. So I Googled and came up with, Halloween music or Halloween songs, and I came up with Stranger Things, the Stranger Things theme, and I thought, Stranger Things. So I started to spell out the S in Stranger Things, and then almost immediately changed it to spooky, scary, silly. Somebody suggested spooky, scary skeletons, and they're not skeletons. They're dressed up in kind of like silly onesie. They're not proper costumes. They're just kind of like onesies that they might use any time of the year. And so I thought and they're kind of silly. They were being silly then and that sort of thing. So I am going to spell out spooky, scary, and silly. I'm going to do so on 3 different rulers so that I can play around. Now, it might have been easier for me to just do this on wax paper and then cut up all 3 of the words off of the wax paper onto like little chunks. But this is the way that I did it, and this was kind of fun, waving around these 3 rulers with these words. And so at first I thought of nesting it the way that I did on the other page, but then I thought that might actually be a little bit too the same. So I'm playing around with a whole bunch of different ideas here. As you can see, having lots of fun with these words on these rulers. And then I thought maybe I could play around with negative space a little bit and kind of line things up all over to the left. I like that. And then I thought, let's put it all down at the very, very bottom. And just to kind of have a real different look to it. And I don't think I've ever made a layout like this before. And I've made a lot of layouts. So to be able to do something completely different, it was exciting for me. So I was like, as soon as it landed down here, I thought, I'm doing this. It is quite a different look, but I like it. So I'm going to start with silly, and I'm going to make all of these words left justified, and I do want them to be fairly lined up, more than usual. I don't usually spend a whole lot of time trying to make sure my letters are exactly lined up, but in this case I do want them to be quite lined up. So I'm just placing them, and then I will scooch them around. Like I said for the last layout, rather than finicking with it to get it onto the ruler exactly perfectly, and then they always end up slipping when you put them on the page. So I'll just mess around with it after they're on the page. So I do have a little T-square here that I discovered when I changed around my room. It was hiding on me and I found it. So there we go. So I'm just lining that up like that. And then Spooky fits just perfectly right there. Whoops, it's almost perfect, but I do have to move a few of them down a little bit. Move that K, it was a little slanted. There you go. There. Spooky, scary, silly. There's my title. It doesn't have to make sense. It is what it is. So I like that it's down further than, Let's Get Physical is up at the top, and then that kind of provides some balance to have that heavy stuff at the bottom on this page. And I am going to next do some journaling. I'm very much aware that I want this to have the same kind of sparse, clean, and simple look as the first page. So my only embellishment here is going to be these clear star stickers from the Hip Kit Club that came in the September kit. I thought about putting a fourth, and if I put a fourth, I would have put a fifth, but I decided to keep it at 3. And I like how this looks with the insert in place. I keep kind of checking how they look together, how they look with the insert in place and with the page flipped both ways. Just to make sure that it all is going to look okay together. So I'm going to be journaling 3 because I have those 3 stars. I'm going to journal around the outsides of the circles where those 3 stars are. So I want to come up with 3 sentences, and 2 of those circles are pretty small. So one of the sentences can be a little bit longer but the other 2 are going to have to be pretty short. And I don't have a whole lot to say about this, but I would like to capture some data about this night. So what am I doing here? Why did I erase all of that? I don't remember why. But anyhow, I want this, so I am penciling in my writing before I do it, just like I did on the other one. I'm just using a very light touch with my mechanical pencil here. And I'll tell you what it says when I go back over it the second time. So at this point, I think I've done no, this is the third one. It is hard to journal around smaller circles, and the smaller the circle is, the harder it is to journal around it. So that's something to just kind of keep in mind when you're doing these sorts of layouts. Don't get yourself too curved in, because it is tricky. Not only do you have less space to write, but it's harder to make it look natural. I'm starting my journaling with a little asterisk that's just going to basically serve as a bullet to show that this is where the journaling starts. Because these are circles and they have no beginning and end, I want it to have an obvious starting place for your eye to start reading the journaling. So this one says, they wore a onesie and a hat instead of full costumes. And then I put an obvious period so that it's clear that there's a beginning and an end to that journaling. And now this is going to be trickier on this one. So that's actually the third piece of journaling there. It's over on the right-hand side. Here's the middle piece of journaling. It says, and again, another asterisk to start it off. It says, they decided not to trick or treat this year. And so your journaling can just be these bullet points. It doesn't have to be, perfectly well thought out sentences and paragraphs and stuff. Sometimes just capturing a little bit of data is all that you really need. And I'll make sure I put my period there to indicate the end of that one. These are little things that your brain looks for when it's deciding how to read something. And now this is the first journaling. So it's again starts with that asterisk, and it says Maddie and Sophie on Halloween night. And I have to keep on turning the page. And what I'm doing is I'm erasing the words and then replacing it with my Sharpie pen written same words. And so I think I did an okay job of indicating where the starting point is for all three of those little bullets of journaling. And I really love how these pages look. Like, I'm very, very pleased with them. I don't usually like clean and simple pages. I do them every so often, but I'm rarely happy myself with them. Like, usually I'm kind of like, oh, this was kind of plain, but it's fine. They don't all have to be really elaborate. But in this case, I actually really, really like these pages quite a lot. So this was just kind of like a hypothetical. I was just kind of saying to the people on the stream, like, if you wanted to put, I thought I'd just leave this paper plain, but if you wanted to put something here, this pocket embellishment would be a great place to anchor some journaling or something. And I liked the look of it so much that I thought I'm just going to think up some journaling to put here because I like how that looks a lot more than just the plain paper with nothing on it. And in doing so, I wound up with this little strip that I thought, oh, here's a spot to put this, I'll just stick this little strip in here. And that again provides me with a little bit more repetition from the other page that has a couple of those pieces of denim sticking out of the layers. So that is just one more way that it kind of all ties together. And sometimes, I mean, especially when you're working with a kit, it makes it easy for these little happy accidents to happen because everything matches with everything else. And when you're using a restricted set of supplies, it's a lot more likely that you're just going to be repeating things even by accident, but repetition is an important design principle that helps your pages look pulled together. So it worked out well. Again, with the repetition, I'm using the same pattern paper from the kit to do some journaling. And again, with the repetition, I'm using that same punch. This time, I'm using the largest size of that punch to punch out a 1-inch banner with a fishtail and flag on the end of it, which I haven't actually punched that yet. And again, like the other page, I just switched to my mono twin marker that gives me a much more bold and very dark black look. And it says, it was pouring rain, but we still got 12 trick-or-treaters. They were wet, but cute. I haven't written that part yet. I had extra space and I wasn't planning to put they were wet, but cute, but I needed to put something there. So I punched this and then, wait a second, that's way too long. So then I trimmed it down and punched it again. That's better. Then I just have to finish the outlining around where that is punched. And I'll just grab some Stampin' Up dimensional adhesives here and I will put those in place. And I'm at the end of my sheet and I do like to use the outside edges. So I usually just cut up a whole bunch of them rather than just cutting what I need so that then I can just pull from that and not have to grab my scissors next time. So I'm going to line that up so that you can still see most of that pretty design on the pocket. The little swirly wave. And here's how all the pages look together. Woohoo! All done. This one was a lot of fun to make. Here is that half page. And then here is the 12 by 12 page with the little 3 spots of journaling, and I thought I'd just include a little close-up of that journaling because it's so much fun. It was fun to make and I think it looks really fun and dynamic as well. So here are the pages together and from afar with the other one flipped over. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you all have a really great scrappy week.